Giants fans, we got a lot to talk about in this episode, from Jackson Dart and other young players really popping at OTAs to week one, Sunday night football against the Dallas Cowboys, along with breaking news that dropped just today on the 21st of something that could impact the Giants' future of the franchise for years to come. What is up, Giants fans? Welcome back to another episode of Bet the Over. I'm your host, Kevbo, and we got a couple of different things to get into on in this episode. As you all know, this week was the start of OTAs. It was voluntary, so not every player was there, but I'm going to go through a couple key players in OTAs, or I guess people that had the most flash or impact. Now, do not overreact to any of these people being stars or someone not being on the list that you expected. It is just the beginning. You can't overreact to any of this news, but let's get right into it. To start, like I said in the intro, Jackson Dart has looked very good so far in OTAs. It has only been 3 days, but it really was only two because the third day got rained out. But Jackson Dart continues to look very good. He's really fitting the ball into small windows. He's throwing the ball back shoulder throws. He's throwing jump balls. He's throwing it where it needs to be. And that's very exciting considering he is really the face of this franchise moving forward. He needs to build on his tremendous rookie season and continue to lead this team to a better record than what they've had in the past 5 years. Next player on the list that's stood out so far is free agent acquisition Calvin Austin from the Pittsburgh Steelers. Calvin Austin has been one of Jackson Dart's favorite targets so far. Granted, Malik Neighbors hasn't been out there, but Calvin Austin is someone I am pretty excited to look out for in the regular season because he's probably going to play in the slot. As you probably know, Wan'Dale Robinson is no longer on the team, so there's a lot of targets to be, I guess, given, or there's a lot of targets out there for any of these wide receivers because Wan'Dale was truly his number one last year after Malik went down. So there's got to be someone that steps up in this wide receiver core, especially if Malik doesn't start the season, which is looking like he won't. Someone's got to step up and really become that true wide receiver number two or number one to start the season. So Calvin Austin looks good so far. Next guy on the list, which I'm super excited about, is rookie wide receiver Malachi Fields. I did an episode on him a couple weeks ago, so check that out in my videos. But with my Malachi Fields, Giants actually traded up for him. They gave up a decent amount to go and get him. He's a big body wide receiver. And in OTAs, he did have an amazing one-handed catch thrown by Jackson Dart. It was, I think, more of a jump ball. I didn't really see it. I just read about it, but that's very promising because in his rookie OTAs, he did have a drop that was pretty bad, and a lot of people were down on him, but he comes right back, bounces back, and makes a fantastic catch. And it's going to be exciting to see how he starts on this team because, like I said before, Malik isn't looking like he's going to start the season. So Fields might be out there week one as our wide receiver two, with Calvin Austin in the slot, and our wide receiver one might be Darnell Mooney, or Darius Slayton might be in there somewhere. So he's going to have opportunity to really show what he can do early on in his career, which could help him, or we'll really see how he looks moving forward after week one. Next guy, also very exciting. Giants' biggest offseason acquisition, Isaiah Likely, had a crazy one-handed catch. If you haven't seen this catch yet, you could probably check it out. I think it's on the Giants' Instagram. He really went up there and snagged it. It looked like that Garrett Wilson catch a couple of years ago. But Isaiah Likely is going to be one of Dart's favorite targets, I think. He's definitely his best receiving option to start week one. And pairing him up with Theo Johnson is going to be something I'm very excited for. Theo Johnson, both Isaiah Likely and Theo Johnson are super athletic. You can really run two tight end sets, and either one of them are fantastic receivers, and they can both kind of block. I think Isaiah Likely is a little bit better, but you have a true dynamic duo in 6'4" Likely and 6'6" Theo Johnson. So it's exciting to see that moving forward. They did pay him a lot. So you hope he can make an instant impact on this team. Next, we'll get into the defense. One guy that has stood out so far is second year defensive end or outside linebacker Abdul Carter. He has been absolutely flying around the field. Abdul Carter is so a freak of nature. He really is. He's so athletic and he really beats people, beats blocks super fast. He's always disrupting plays, and I'm expecting a big season out of him. He definitely started to hit his stride later in the season. So you're hoping we can kind of build on what he had last season. And I don't think anyone can do that better than John Harbaugh because Abdul Carter did kind of seem like he was a little immature last season. I know there was a lot of stuff where he was benched for the first quarter, the first drive, or whatever. And with John Harbaugh being there, I feel like he can really speak to the young player and talk to him. Like John Harbaugh's been in the league for 16 seasons. He can really speak some sense into Abdul Carter, get his mind right, because I really think the sky's the limit for Abdul if he can just focus, lock in, and really take this seriously because he has all the talent in the world. He just needs to, I guess, mentally prepare. And John Harbaugh, I hope, can really, I guess, channel his skills and make Abdul Carter what we all think he can be in a dominant pass rusher. Next guy on the list, I'm reading off my phone, so if I'm looking down, just know that. Arvell Reese, he didn't do anything specifically crazy. He just looked super fast, super versatile. He's going to be next to Tremaine Edmonds, like we speculated. It's going to be a great linebacker duo between them two. And even if you drop Abdul Carter into coverage, which he doesn't do too much, but just imagine the three of them back there. Abdul Carter, Arvell Reese, and Tremaine Edmonds. That's got to be one of the most athletic linebacker core in the league right there. And all of them have pass rush upside. Maybe not Edmonds. He's a true Mike linebacker, but Abdul Carter and Arvell Reese both have super high rushing upside, and they can really do a bunch of different types of packages with these guys because if Denard Wilson wants to disguise the defense, you really don't know who's going to come after you if those three guys are lined up in the A, B, and C gap. So Arvell Reese looks very good. Next guy on the list, I have Drew Phillips. He was making a lot of plays around the line of scrimmage, so kind of closer up. Giants definitely need an upgrade in the cornerback room, or they just need someone to step up. I mean, they have a bunch of like corner twos. They don't really have that alpha corner who can really lock up a wide receiver. Drew Phillips is going to be more of the slot guy anyway, but it's always good to have a good slot corner in the NFL, especially now because there's so many three wide receiver sets and passing the ball is so much more popular than it was 10 years ago. So you definitely need as many good corners as you can get. And that segues right into the next guy that I'm super, super stoked about in Colton Hood, who had a fantastic pass breakup. I think he even had a pick in his rookie minicamp, which was nice to see. But Colton Hood definitely looks like he belongs in this league. I mean, he was a second round pick, and the Giants ended up. They said they were going to take him no matter who was there at their second round pick. I know a lot of people were speculating they were going to take defensive tackle there, but they loved Hood. Hood was their pick at round two, and so far he's lived up to, I guess, his hype. Granted, it is only OTAs. Like I said, you can't overreact to anything that happened this past three practices. So those are kind of the top guys, I'd say. There's obviously been other people that have made plays, but those are the guys that have really stood out. And the biggest thing about this is all of these guys are pretty young. I mean, you got Jackson Dart, he's young. Calvin Austin's pretty young. Malachi Fields, rookie. Isaiah Likely's only 25. Abdul Carter's only 22 or 23. Arvil Reese is a rookie. Drew Phillips is in his third year, and Colton Hood is a rookie. So you love to see that. It gives us a light at the end of the tunnel, what seems like an endless tunnel being a Giants fan, but the rookies look good, and you can kind of see this team, or at least you hope we see this team turn things around sooner rather than later. Next, we're going to get into opening night against the Dallas Cowboys. Now, the Giants' opening night history has not been good. Like I said, their their last 10 games, they're actually 2-8 opening day or opening night against all their opponents, and specifically against the Dallas Cowboys. They've lost 6 of their last 7 games against the Dallas Cowboys opening night, and the last loss they had was probably the worst out of all of them. The Giants lost 40 to nothing. 40, 4-0. It was an absolute bloodbath. That was one of the most embarrassing losses I've ever seen in my life. Um, you were all excited for week one. Giants come out there. I think it was the year after Daboll's rookie year where they actually made the playoffs. So you were hoping they could come out and they were still a quality team, and they just got annihilated. First drive of the game, they drove down the field. They actually looked pretty good. Set up the kick. Graham Gano's kick gets blocked, returned for a touchdown by the Dallas Cowboys. And the cherry on top of everything is their star left tackle, Andrew Thomas, got hurt during that kick return and was out for an extended period of time. So I have PTSD playing the Dallas Cowboys. The Giants can never seem to beat them, especially like week one. But John Harbaugh at the helm, this team kind of feels different this year. It's definitely a different vibe than years prior. And even in one of their conferences, I think it was the day before OTAs, John Harbaugh said every practice they have is in preparation to kick the Cowboys' ass. I think he said, or something like that. But yeah, I completely agree with him. All these practices are obviously to set you up for success during the season, and I want this season to be successful just as much as probably all you guys do. It's the Giants have been miserable for too long, and I can't mentally take it anymore. We need some more W's. And that's kind of it for the Dallas Cowboy thing. And then finally, the biggest news of the day that I have kind of not mentioned, I mentioned in the intro, but the Giants did indeed sign Joe Schoen to a contract extension today, May 21st, 2026, which may have been a surprise to some of you, maybe not. Joe Schoen is definitely one of the more polarizing GMs in the league. He has positives and negatives. I mean, what he did to Saquon was definitely a negative. He got Daboll fired and kind of threw him under the bus, which was kind of disrespectful in a sense. But at the same time, I mean, he got John Harbaugh. He recruited him to the team. He's drafted well the past. I mean, you could say 3 years. We don't know what these rookies are going to look like, but we can objectively say he drafted pretty well these past 3 years. First 2 years weren't very good, but um, those are kind of the positives. And this signing was a little weird because I've just heard so many rumors like John Harbaugh hates him. Joe Schoen, John Harbaugh don't get along. John Harbaugh is running the show anyway. Joe Schoen has no say. So I guess this kind of silences all those rumors. I mean, they might not necessarily get back together, but the biggest thing is if the Giants end up winning some more games during this season, then nobody's going to care how bad Joe Schoen has been in seasons prior. All that matters is winning. It's so true. If the Giants go out there and they win their first 3 out of 4 games, everyone's going to be like, the Joe Schoen signing was great. Fantastic. Maybe not that early, but if they make the playoffs next year and the Giants have this successful season, everyone's going to be like, yeah, Joe Schoen's the best. Meanwhile, if they miss the playoffs and go below their expectations, everyone's going to go after Joe Schoen and yeah, just go after him. Put his head on a stick or whatever. March towards town hall. Um, so moving forward, it definitely creates stability in the organization. You don't want to have this carousel of new GMs, new coaches, new GMs, new coaches. I kind of thought the Giants were going to go two ways this offseason, one of two ways. It's either you fire Joe Schoen and you have John Harbaugh come in and elect all his new GMs, coaches, and all that stuff, and he runs the show, or you extend Joe Schoen and also bring in John Harbaugh. I guess that's the only two things you could have done. But anyway, I agree with this signing. You got to keep them together. I mean, you can't just keep firing your GMs. You need stability in the organization. And moving forward, like I said, I think John Harbaugh and Joe Schoen get along enough to at least keep this team moving in the right direction. So that's basically it for the episode. Comment down below. I'm going to ask you, are the Giants moving in the right direction, do you guys think? Or is it more just off-season hype? And do you think we're going to be disappointed once again? So comment down below what you guys think of that. Um, like, comment, and subscribe. I know I haven't been posting as much, but there really hasn't been too much news. Um, Maybe next episode I'll kind of talk about the Malik Neighbors situation because there is some bad news, I'd say, about him. So thanks for tuning in again. And remember, bet the over.